Hello, Namaskar, Vanakkam. In today's episode, I am going to discuss and tell the summary of With the Photographer by Stephen Leacock, which is part of the ICSE Class 10 Treasure Chest textbook for English literature. Now, I'm doing this short summary so that you are familiar with the themes, the basic characters, what do they represent, and what is the author trying to convey through this story. And in the second video, I'll go in for a line by line, word by word, detailed explanation of this particular story so that you know enough about the story before you get into it. It will just make the process of understanding that much easier. Okay, so let's get started with the summary and understanding of the basic themes of the story. Okay, so this is a very wonderful image that I got created. You can see from the expression of the photographer that he doesn't seem to be a very pleasant kind of a person, isn't it? He's inside a photo studio, and that's where the speaker or the narrator actually enters. And the entire story is about his interaction, his rendezvous with this particular photographer. Now, let me tell you first about the author of the story. Now, Stephen Leacock was a Canadian teacher. He was also a political scientist and a very well-known author. And what made his stories very special was the fact that they were laced with light-hearted humor. This is important. And this is a word, a phrase that you can use in your answers as well. They were also known for their very mild criticism. You would see that in this particular story, through this story, Stephen Leacock is able to highlight the fact that the photographer he's not only an unpleasant kind of a person, but the kind of thing he actually does to the speaker don't make you feel very good, because pretty much the same kind of things could happen even to you and me. So through these two characters and their interaction, the author is able to mildly criticize the weaknesses or the eccentricities of people. Now, what does the word eccentricity mean? It means slightly strange kind of behavior, behavior that you would find a little awkward, or some habits which may be described as eccentric habits. Now, the story is narrated in first person, so there is a sense of immediacy, in the sense that you know about the mind of the speaker, and since there is only one another character, you also get to see how that second character, in this case the old photographer, how is he being observed by the narrator, right? So that's the advantage when you write a story in the first person, and the first person is a 40-year-old man, so a bit of a middle-aged kind of person. What are the themes that have been explored in this story? The first one is the theme of insecurity. There is also the theme, that's the way I saw it. I didn't see it in too many of the critics having written about it, but in the modern day 21st century context, I think this is very important. The theme of body or face shaming. That is, you're trying to tell the other person that your face is not good enough. How would you feel if you were told that you are not very good looking, that something is wrong with your face, your ears are not okay, your nose is not okay, your eyebrows are not okay? You would feel irked, you would feel irritated, you would not be very happy with that kind of a response or reaction. Isn't that so? So the theme of body or face shaming, and the theme of insecurity, right? Because it is about that if someone is not good looking, we can do something in order to make it better looking, but that would not be the real you. So should you feel insecure about the way you look, my advice to all you children out there is that we should never feel insecure. You should always be very confident about the way you look, because much more important than the way you look is the way you conduct yourself, is the dignity with which you conduct yourself, the kind of persona, the kind of personality that you bring to the table. So the story in that sense is a satire. Again, an important keyword that you need to use. It's a satire on the photographer's artistic process in which he subjects the subject. You see, this is the noun, this is the verb. He subjects the subject to manipulation because he's manipulating his photograph, and thereby he's manipulating what the narrator thinks about himself. He manipulates him to such an extent that he no longer recognizes himself in the image. The photograph that comes out, he has touched it up so much, and all of you of the Instagram age would be able to identify with it. He touches it up to such an extent that he says, who is this? This is not me. This is not me. So this is, while it is meant to be a humorous kind of a take on the narrator's visit to the photographer, the protagonist's visit to the photographer, but if you read between the lines, as I will explain to you in the second video, if you read between the lines, it is also extremely offensive. It is rude. And it is a very brutal takedown. It is, rude and brutal and offensive on the self-esteem of a person. If someone keeps telling you that your color is not good enough, you're not fair, you're dark complexion, your specs look awful, your dress looks awful, how would it feel? It's offensive. No one should ever, even if you feel it that I don't like his or her dress, but you should never say it because it is considered bad manners. So you are also offending the person's self-esteem. While with he being repeatedly told, the narrator is repeatedly told by the person, as you will see when I do the line by line explanation, that nothing is quite right with his face. तुम ठीक नहीं, तुम्हारा चेहरा बिल्कुल ठीक नहीं, your face is not good enough at all, it's not right, your ears are not okay, your eyebrows are not okay, etc., etc. So you look at the way the guy is sitting, he's dismayed, he doesn't like it, right? The photographer, while the subject is standing, actually he should be standing in front of the camera, right? Now, why is this story relevant today? This is my take. We live in the age of Instagram, where every event becomes an occasion to click pictures, obviously, Photoshop, not so very good, and touch them up to make them Instagrammable so that they can garner maximum likes and favorable comments. Isn't that so? The face, the hair, the body may look different from the real you, but still the aim is to make the entire personality look good on Instagram. So you're living a life on Instagram, which is why I think the story is very relevant to today's age. Why have I given you this take? Because you could get a question in the thing trying to link it to today's day and age, right? Because a story, even though written almost a century ago, is very relevant even today. Now, the two characters are the photographer and the narrator, who is a 40-year-old man, unnamed. Now, the photographer, you would find, is not a very pleasant kind of person. He's very stoic. He takes his work very seriously. He's what we would describe as a scientific artist, obsessed with the science of photography, detached from the emotional quotient. He does not care. He wants the photograph to look good. He does not care about the emotions of the person whose photograph he has taken. He's offending him, he's humiliating him, he's insulting him, but he wants a photograph to look very good. Isn't there a complete dichotomy out there? It reveals his hypocrisy to an extent, the hypocrisy of his mind. He's also indifferent to the feelings of the narrator. Please keep writing whatever I'm saying, because I'm going extempore, I'm saying as it keeps coming to my mind. Okay, a lot of it would not be written here. So keep noting down the kind of phrases and the words that I'm using. He's obsessed with, what is he obsessed with? The photographer is obsessed with creating an ideal photograph, an ideal image of the subject. Even though he thinks that the subject is not ideal, but I would recreate and make it an ideal image. So a photograph, ideally speaking, technically speaking, is meant to capture the real you. But here, he's not capturing the real you. He's kind of manipulating the photograph to make it look good, even while it does not look anything like the real person. You understand the point I'm making? So it results in dehumanization of the subject. The subject is dehumanized. The human being is told that he is not good enough, but never mind, I will do something to synthetically alter. Synthetically alter. I just thought it's a good phrase, just came to my mind. Synthetically, because that's what he does with the help of a lot of things. And today's day and age, we use what? We use different apps in order to do the same. Isn't that so? So this results in dehumanization of the subject, where you are insulting the person, but his photograph you're altering in order to make it look good according to the way you think it is looking good. What about the narrator? Now, the narrator is a rather patient man till the end of the story, where he runs out of patience. He's a very self-deprecating person. What does it mean? That he also does not think he's perfect. He also, which is why initially he's a little timid in front of the photographer. He kind of agrees, yeah, okay, I know I'm not perfect, right? Till the end, when he thinks that, no, this is not what I wanted. This is not me. He's initially intimidated by the presence, by the rather unfriendly presence of the photographer inside his photo studio. But towards the end, he finds his voice. He's disappointed and annoyed with the way his appearance, his looks, his entire personality is frowned upon by the photographer. He's told, the photographer is very dismissive of his looks. And he says that, no, but wait, I will improve you. I will improve you. Right? It's almost akin to the world of makeup, where you have maybe pimples, warts, you don't look good, but say, okay, no problem. I will do the touch-up and make it look all very good. Right? So you have to decide, you want the real you or you want an altered you, right? You want a real you. So it is the thing between the real person versus the altered person, right? So this is the summary of the story. I thought before we start, if we put this, you will be able to understand the story that much better, because now you have got an idea about the themes that we are going to talk about, the larger themes, right? So the next video, I will explain the entire story word by word, line by line, and I can assure you this is going to be the best. You wouldn't get anything like this anywhere else. Okay, so I'll meet you now in the next video, where we will discuss the entire story. Tata, bye-bye. Thank you very much. Like, comment, share, support, subscribe.